Hey, future bestsellers, Lisa Daly here. I'm the best-selling, traditionally published author of 8 books, including a best-selling self-help book. And by the end of the video today, you will know exactly what you need to know to structure and outline your own self-help book. Let's get started. Step number 1, you want to start with a creative work plan. So I actually come from an advertising background, and before you ever start writing a commercial or a radio spot or a print ad or an online ad, you always start with a creative brief, which is the document that you use to really help to drill down on what's important, who you're talking to, and what you're going to say to them. Just a quick note, if you want to be part of this community, if you like this video, definitely be sure to hit like, subscribe, and ding that little bell so you'll be notified every time I post new videos. So the first thing you want to figure out is your key fact. What is the single most important fact upon which your book can have an effect? I actually modified my favorite advertising creative brief for writing self-help books, and I will tell you that it has been very, very effective for me as well as other writers I've worked with. So my best-selling self-help book was actually a dating advice book. And the key fact upon which I built that book, Stop Getting Dumped, was that it sucks to get dumped. It's awful to get your heart broken. It's awful. And pain avoidance is actually a very motivating factor for human beings. So if you can help your readers to avoid pain, you are doing them a big service, and they will be grateful for that. So the second thing you need to figure out in your creative brief is, what is the problem that the book must solve? What is it that your reader needs? All right, the next thing you want to figure out is the objective of the book. What impact is this book going to have on your reader's life? Are you going to help them make more money? Are you going to help them lose weight? Are you going to help them, be more confident in their business interactions? What is the objective of the book? The next thing you need to figure out is the strategy. How exactly are you going to achieve the objective of the book and help your reader to solve his or her problem? What are the specifics? Exactly how are you going to make that happen? The next part you have to figure out is, who is your prime reader? Who is going to buy this book? Who's going to talk it up to their friends? And in this section, you want to include psychographics, demographics, and basically any other information that you have about your reader or about your audience. And if you're already a speaker or a coach, you probably know, you can probably create a profile of who your client or your ideal client is, right? And it's not just that you want to figure out the age or sex or income of your ideal reader. You also want to figure out what it is they truly want. What's stopping them? What's holding them back? What do they dream of? What is it that they really, really want in life? So the next thing you're going to figure out in the creative brief is the positioning of your book. Not only the category for your book, but the specific segment in which your book will compete. What is the reason that your book needs to exist when there are already 8 bazillion other books out there? And what does your book offer the reader that no other book does? Because that's really where you get them. The next thing you want to figure out is your promise. What is your very best argument for why the reader should buy your book? The last thing you figure out is what we call the reason why. Why does your book deliver this promise to your reader? What support do you have for your promise? And I think most importantly, can you keep that promise to your reader? Because if you can't, you need to go back to the drawing board. Step 2, you want to follow my best-selling self-help book outline formula. And this formula is, and before you go, oh, I don't want to follow a formula, let me just tell you that this formula is basically the structure that is used by almost every best-selling self-help book. And the reason for that is that it gets your reader from point A to point B or point F or wherever you're trying to get them to go in the easiest, most logical way possible. You can be original in your ideas, you can be original in your text, and you should be. You definitely should be. But as far as the structure, this is the most easily digestible way for your reader to get the information that you're trying to impart. Now, the great news is that with the outline, you've already done a lot of the really hard work in your creative brief. It pays to think things through before you get started. Number 1, define the problem. This is where you define for the reader the problem you are trying to solve and who exactly you're trying to solve it for. Use the creative work plan. It is your friend. Don't worry about taking notes. You can actually grab a copy of my creative work plan and my outline. If you there's a link in the description below. Just click the link and I'll just send it right to your email. And before you say something like, oh, my book is for everyone, know that that is a lazy, lazy answer, and no book is for everyone. No book. So do better. You can do it. Do better. Now, everyone doesn't count. I want specifics. And so will your publisher. Number 2, reiterate and expand on either your benefit-driven title or your catchy benefit-driven plan name. And this is where you're going to introduce that plan. You're not going to go into all the specifics just yet. That's for a little later in the book. But you do want to let the reader know that the 4-hour work week or fit and fabulous in 15 minutes or this or that your plan is going to solve their problem. The third part of your outline is that where you create a promise for your reader. And again, this is something we'll take directly from the creative work plan. This is where you tell them what are they going to gain when they read your book? What's the end goal? How will they know when they have accomplished what it is you want them to accomplish? What are you going to deliver to them? So number 4 is the problem journey. How did your reader come to have this problem? Is it a societal problem? How did you personally come to have this problem? What's the history of the problem? Is it the reader's fault? Is it somebody else's fault? Is it nobody's fault? Is it just something that happens and now we all have to deal with it? This gives you a really great opportunity to relate to your reader. You've been where they are now. You know how they feel. You understand the struggles that they are facing because you've been there too. And look how awesome your life is now, right? You've accomplished their dream and now you are going to show them exactly how to do it. You've been broke. You've been out of shape. You've been all alone crying into a bowl of ice cream on a Saturday night, right? And now you hold the secrets to the universe. And this is why your reader can trust you to help them solve their problem. Number 5, reader preparation. So this is where you prepare the reader to change their life. You still are not getting into the plan yet, but this is where you prepare them to change their life. What do they need to get started? Do they need a subscription to a dating site? Do they need a notebook? Do they need a new therapist? What do they need to start on day 1 with your plan? Number 6, this is your action plan for the reader. Now this is the meat, the takeaway. This is the big cheese. This is where you tell them exactly what they need to do in order to solve their problem and accomplish their goal. And what you'll need to do here is be sure you structure your plan into steps. Now, these steps can be step-driven, like something like AA. They can be timeline-driven, so, change your life in 6 weeks, or any other small bite scenario to help you break up the steps for the reader. And there are a couple reasons why you want to break these into a couple of different steps. First, you want to give the reader opportunities for small wins along the way to the big win. And so that's really important. And the other thing that's important is that if the reader fails along the way, you don't want them falling all the way to the bottom. If they fail, all isn't lost. They just have to go back to the last place where they did in fact succeed. So maybe that was step 7 or step 42, but they don't fall as far when they fall. Speaking of falling, the next section, number 7, is troubleshooting failure. Now, the reason that we include a troubleshooting failure section in a self-help book is because every reader is going to stumble along the way. Almost no one will be able to execute your plan perfectly without any mishaps. And there are a couple of reasons why you want to include a sort of troubleshooting section. One is that if the reader does make an error, you want to teach them how to immediately get back on the plan. Number 2, you want to express some solidarity with them. They're not failing at this because they're horrible screw-ups. They're failing at this in the same way that lots of other people have failed at this, because change is hard. Changing your life is hard as crap. And you know that, and you are here to help them succeed. And the great thing about it is that this is a really good place to bond with your reader, right? You want to acknowledge here that it's not easy to change your life. It isn't. It's hard. Otherwise, we'd all be, blissfully happy, living our best lives, happily coupled up or married or single, having the best sex of our lives in awesome shape on top of a giant pile of money, right? Yeah, maybe that's just me. Number 8, the future and beyond. Now, this is where you want to end your book on a positive, uplifting note. You've really connected with this reader. You know they can do it, and you are cheering for them. You have faith in them. Tell them that you know they can do this. Step number 9, you want to make sure that your reader has your contact information. And this is important for a couple of different reasons. First of all, you've just helped them change their life, and they're going to feel really close with you, and you want to encourage that, right? This means you're on the right path with whatever you're doing in your life, and you have actually helped another person to achieve their goals, which I'm sure you already know is an awesome feeling. It's an awesome feeling. It's like the best feeling in the whole world. It's actually the reason I'm here. So this section is where you want to tell the reader how to stay connected to you, whether that's through your social media or your website. By the way, if you want to stay connected with me, follow me on social media. You're helping your reader to change their lives. You're pals now, you're buddies. You are connected for life. You want to know all about their story, their progress, and any problems that they might be having that you didn't anticipate, so that you can actually solve those problems for future readers. Well, I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, please join our little community and click the subscribe button, like this video, and ding that little bell so that you'll actually be notified every time I post a new writing and publishing video. If you have any questions about outlining a best-selling self-help book that I did not answer in the video today, be sure to let me know in the comments below. And if you want a copy of my creative work plan and my outline, I'm happy to give that to you. Just click the link at the top of the description below, and I'll shoot that to you in an email. As always, thanks so much for watching. I hope this video was helpful to you. If it was, or if it wasn't, let me know in the comments section below. See you next time. All right, go out there and change some lives.